Alright, this is a bit of an experiment. I've never done a live stream before. I don't even know if the technology is working, but this is what it's all about. This is a test. If you're one of my Patreon supporters, my subscribers, and you're watching this not live, it's because I've posted it on my Patreon page. I probably recommend you watch this on 2x speed just for a little while, just to see things move along a little bit quicker before we actually get to some content. It seems to be working reasonably well because I've got at the top left, in addition to my little timer, I've got like 18 people little icon and 3 thumbs up, so that seems to tell me that people are logging on, so hopefully YouTube's notifying it. What I was hoping was that I'd be able to see some chat so people could interact. Jack Dewa says it's working. My man, Jack, you're like my technical advisor right now. Good stuff. Michael Sharple says, yo. John Bouchur says, all good. Nice. Alright, welcome guys. I'm so pleased to get to interact with you. OG Mustache Male Facial Companion. I like your username. That's awesome. We're here, dude. Alright, thanks for joining me, guys. What I want to do today is do my first live stream. You guys, you get to see it publicly. After this happens, it's all going to be archived and be available for my Patreon subscribers. It's cool that everyone from the community is here interacting with each other. That's wicked cool. We're actually going to have a little bit of a structure to it. I've got an article that I want to discuss. You guys won't believe this one. It's absolutely crazy. That's so nice. This channel is a huge service to the male community. Thanks for that. You're very welcome. It means a lot that that's appreciated. Oh, this is so crazy. I can't believe that I'm live and there's people actually here watching it. Alright, I've got to get over my own fascination because that's probably not going to be so interesting for you guys to watch. So at about the 5-minute mark or about the 2-minute mark, I'm just giving a bit of time for people to come in. We're going to start going through that article. If you want to familiarize yourself with it, although I'm going to be reading through it, I've got some links hopefully in the description box below. One of the links is to the Reddit post, and it had 22,000 upvotes on the feminist subreddit called 2X Chromosomes. I thought they were absolutely crazy that it was this popular. I'm just going to read some of the comments. Love the new video formats. Brad, thank you for the compliment. John Bouchur, thank you again for the compliment. Wittard84 loves this channel. Thank you, I love this channel. And I love people who love this channel. This is awesome fun. I'm loving it. And then I've also got a link in there to a news article written about it. So what it is it's this outrage over this quote that was written on the wall. Anyway, we'll get to that in about 2 minutes. In the meantime, if anybody has any questions for me, just while I wait for more people to arrive. Looks like I've got 32 people watching at the moment. That's fucking cool. Yeah, we'll just interact in the chat for a couple more minutes before we get started. Louisford says, your channel is an eye-opener. Thanks from Paris, France. Bonjour, je m'appelle Alex. That's all I know. Atheon Pro, you're doing quite well. Keep it up, bro. Thank you. As an audience member, you're doing quite well. Keep the compliments coming. That's good. That keeps things fun. I don't know what time it is for you guys in Paris. Right now, it's like 10:30 at night here in Australia. I live in, the western side of Australia. Our time zone's crazy, out of sync with everybody else. So I have to do something late at night. I feel like if people want to be able to see it. Videos are very awesome. Could you make a video about your background? Very interested. You've got something in psychology or something. I do have a lot of interest in my psychology. It's 4 in the afternoon in Paris, in psychology. My background is extremely long. I've done a lot in my 30 years. It's 3 p.m., 3:30 in Ireland. But I'm also a reasonably private guy. I think that small details about my personal life will probably drip out of me, even though I don't want them to, because I would like to keep my public life. I've taken a bit of a risk with the channel. I've used my real name, and the red pill is somewhat controversial. But I'd like to keep a lot of the details about my life private. Maybe a little bit more for my Patreon subscribers. That's my aim. I'll answer one more question, then we'll get started on the article. What are my thoughts on Jordan Peterson? I have so many thoughts on Jordan Peterson. We're going to have to put off the article because I want to answer that. Jordan Peterson's fantastic. I agree with him on so many things. There are some points that I disagree with him on, but not that many. If I have any criticism of Jordan Peterson, I actually don't think he's a particularly good writer. I think he's extremely clever, but in terms of writing like pop psychology, I think that you need to make it a little bit more palatable and understandable for people, whereas his writing style is very academic, very long-winded, lots of add-ons, things like that. Yeah, I've read a fantastic article that criticized his writing style, and I really, really agreed with it. But I like his passion. He really sincerely cares about men. I think that's fantastic. You know, I do too. I feel like if Jordan and I sat down, we would find a lot of common ground. And I also think it's fantastic that a psychologist, of all people, is like this national public figure. How awesome is that? This is where the public debate has shifted to psychology. That's amazing. Somebody asked me if I could speak about dominance and submission, but the way I've got chat set up is the messages fade really quickly. So, yeah, shit, I'm sorry. But I do want to get started on my topic. JEP, annoying with the Christian stuff. A little bit tempted to agree with you there. A little bit more Sam Harris-like in that regard. But anyway, we're at 6 minutes. Let's get started. If you haven't done so yet, click on the link in the description box. That'll take you to a newspaper article. And the title of it is, quote described as sexist on wall of Houston ISD has been removed. Alright, let's go through. Thank you for that compliment. Alright, Houston, Texas. Houston ISD has removed a controversial quote off the wall of Montrose area school Saturday morning. The picture of the quote, painted on the wall at Gregory Lincoln Education Center on Taft, was shared many times on social media after an HISD employee took it Friday and shared it with friends. The quote reads, "The more you act like a lady, the more he'll act like a gentleman." It got a strong reaction. So let's just let that quote sink in again, and so you can form your own opinions about it. The more you act like a lady, the more he'll act like a gentleman. I think we're reinforcing stereotypes, said HISD parent Tish Ochoa, whose friend took the picture. I mean, look at the climate that we're living in. We're supposed to be teaching people to be responsible for their own actions. What is this teaching little girls? Others shared the same sentiment on social media. Some tweets added the hashtag #MeToo. So the onus is on women to act ladylike in order to be treated with respect by a man? This is disgusting, wrote Twitter user Lisa's Crafty Life. Sounds like they are trying to blame women for how men behave, tweeted See Fear Not. Others were not offended. Teaching respect is wrong now? I don't get it, wrote Ben Creamer. And Squeezebox, these names, Squeezebox tweeted, I don't see anything wrong with this message. Only people with mental illness would be offended. Oh, that's polite. Just as controversial is who's being quoted. Sydney Biddle Barrows. Is that a real name? Sydney Biddle Barrows? She's the so-called Mayflower Madam, a New York City escort service owner busted in the 1980s. She reportedly said the words to her escorts. How did they find this quote if she was just saying it to her escorts? Okay, regardless. But how did the school board find this quote to put it up in the first place? That's bizarre. I'm the mother of a little girl, a 6-year-old girl. I would die if my girl went to school and saw that, said Ochoa. Shit. You would die? Gregory Lincoln is a kindergarten through 8th grade school with a fine arts magnet program. The quote is on a wall above a locker bank and has been there for 5 years, according to HISD trustee Diana Davila. In response to the controversy, HISD sent a statement to Eyewitness News. Please be advised that the quote on the wall of Gregory Lincoln PK5 Education Center has been removed. Overnight, the wall decal letters were taken down, the wall was floated out, and our new slab of drywall was installed and painted. Ochoa is satisfied with HISD's response and said, I hope it's done before school starts. So for anyone just joining us, there's a link to an article, and Winstead says, I can't believe they make so much drama out of this quote, that I'm inclined to agree with you. I'm going to go through my thoughts on this particular thing, and yeah. Now, sorry, I know that there are a lot of comments there that I didn't get to read as I was reading this, but feel free to let me know now what you think of the quote. I'm going to start off by saying, it seems to me that obviously the message is just about respect. So, volume up. I'll just try and speak louder. I don't know how to increase the volume, I'm sorry. So, if you want respect, you give respect. You know, in surfing, there's something called tribal law, and it governs how surfers should interact with each other out on the waves. I don't know how relevant that is in Europe or America, how much surfing you guys do, but it's pretty big here in Australia. And basically, if you want to be respected out there catching waves and whatnot, then you've got to give respect to the other surfers. Reciprocity, makes complete sense. I think that that's what this quote is saying. I don't think it's intentionally being sexist. Well, obviously the quote was from this madam of like a brothel or something like that, and she was telling it to, to convince her workers to treat the men nicer so they could get more tips or something like that. But then I don't think that's why the school board posted the quote up on the wall in the first place. I think it's important to know that this is an elementary school, so they're clearly not talking about, rape or anything like that, or about the way that men, interact with each other in a dating or a sexual context. It's about raising nice young ladies. Jeremy Cockboys, what would the reaction have been had the genders be reversed? I think that potentially you would probably see the same reaction. The difference being that I don't think people lose their minds on the internet or on Twitter as much as when it comes to feminist issues, but I think you still would have found some men taking issue with it. Kind of odd if you posted at elementary school. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. It's a weird message, but I think that, obviously there's a lot of virtue signaling going on with an outrage like this one, which is what makes it kind of funny. I find it funny. I hope you guys too. You can't take anything too seriously in this world, certainly not like this. I don't like that the school said that this doesn't, what was the exact quote? This doesn't represent, our values or anything like that, so they're taking it down. I don't think it's a good idea when people create like a Twitter outrage mob, or they're doing virtue signaling in this manner, to actually cave in to that issue. I think it's better to just take it down quietly and just say, yep, we removed it. But if you let people feel like they've got some kind of control over you, that all they need to do is get really outraged, and then you start making, changes based on your life, then that's a really dangerous precedent that you've particularly set. It works in corporations, it works in governments, and it works in personal relationships. You guys have probably found, I'm assuming I'm mostly talking to men here, but if your partner or your girlfriend or a girl that you're dating, a plate or something like that, is being really outrageous, if you make a concession once, you've made a huge mistake, because you're just setting yourself up for her to get upset again the next time. When somebody becomes unduly upset about something, you need to point out, no, this is an unreasonable and irrational reaction to what's going on, so you just need to calm down, and we'll talk, when you're feeling kind of rationally. To make a kind of knee-jerk reaction of like, oh shit, yes, we'll take this down, I think sends the wrong department, because it says that this kind of tactics work. Now, I think that rather than take it down, it would have been quite interesting had they just added the words at the end, and vice versa. Be a lady if you want men to treat like a gentleman, and vice versa. That would have solved the issue, and I think it would have been a really positive story then. Maybe the news could have been filled not with terrible school admits quote is sexist and then removes it. It could have been a story of, school reinforces, respect. Let me check in with some of these chat things. It's a problem because it implies women should take responsibility for their behavior. I didn't say it, you did. Look, there does seem to be a real trend that it is sexist in some way to recommend that women do take responsibility for their behavior, particularly in the way that men treat them. But, and I understand that the issue becomes politicized, but from a purely psychological point of view, of course you need to be able to speak about those nuances. You need to understand and explore exactly how your behavior is contributing to whatever your interactions and your relationships are going. So that's all I really see is going on here. I think that the woman who says she feels like her 6-year-old, were her 6-year-old to see it, she would die. Shit, how good is your life that that kind of thing can throw you off that much? Some tweets added the Me Too hashtag. Ay. So why do these things keep coming up? So why do we get news items about ridiculous things like this? It's because people are playing out their personal issues and their personal lives in public. They want the discussion to move this way because they're not having these discussions in their private lives. guaranteed a lot of the women who do like social justice things, you know, and are out there doing activism with regards to feminism, had some men in their lives treat them like crap. Probably their father, often like a husband who is a prick or whatever like that. And they haven't dealt with that in their private lives. And so that man, whoever that was, becomes men. And it sucks for all the good men out there, you know? It sucks that the school board had to be subjected to being accused of being sexist, essentially, you know? I mean, I think the quote is dumb, probably, that it was up on an elementary school thing. It's just very strange judgment. But they're not sexists. This is, someone asked about Jordan Peterson before. This is what's fantastic about him, is he takes political issues, or things that seem like political issues, and he takes the conversation deeper. He makes it about the psychology, which is what I love. Dominant Seth says, yet the standards men must adhere to. Oh, it's fading. Shit. Maybe if I click this thing again. All messages are visible. Oh, now the messages aren't fading. That's fantastic. Let me read that one again. Yet the standards men must adhere to haven't changed throughout our existence. The argument could be made... It faded again. Fuck. Sorry for swearing. YouTube will demonetize me. To take more responsibility through means of legal monetary theft. Yeah, man. Absolutely. So, this is the article that I wanted to read. Someone said, teaching respect is wrong now. I don't get it. I don't see anything wrong with this message. Only people with a mental illness would be offended. I love the internet. You really see what people actually think. No one would say that to somebody in real life. Probably out of fear of repercussions, though, not because they didn't actually think it. Sounds like they're trying to blame women for how men behave. I don't think that that's what's going on. I think that it's getting to the point where nobody's taking responsibility for anything. Hey, Marcin H, how you doing? And I think that there needs to be a revival of manners. For people who are following the channel closely, you're aware that I've just come back from Bali, and people are always asking me now that I'm back in Australia, what have I noticed is different, you know, between Australia and Bali. And here's an interesting thing, is that people in Bali are friendly, but then they don't have any manners. Jeremy Kochoy, I believe you. They're not polite, you know, they're grinning at you in Bali, but they're also yelling at you from across the street. They're also quite happy to sort of bump into you, you know, they're very friendly and they're smiling and they're laughing. Whereas here in Australia, I would say that we're way less friendly, but we're more polite. Like when I first got back, I was at the supermarket and I saw a woman, you know, usher her you know, little daughter, her 4-year-old daughter or so, you know, off to the side and say, oh, be careful, sweetheart, make sure the other man has room to get by. And I hadn't said anything, you know, I hadn't made her feel bad about her child being there. I wasn't even really close to her yet. But I thought, wow, that's extraordinary, because what she was actually teaching that little girl there was to be respectful and to show manners and to be polite. And that's not something I really saw anywhere in Bali. And I gotta say, I really liked it. I had never considered myself a particularly formal guy, but it just greased the wheels of that social interaction that much easier to know that there was an established code of conduct between the two of us, between all of the members of society, and that she was raising her daughter to be considerate of other people. And I gotta say, my heart just lifted just feeling that. I just thought, yeah, from that one interaction, I'm pretty much guaranteed that that woman has a mother who's going to be raising her right. You know, she didn't yell at her or admonish her like, get out of the way, or anything like that, in a way that would confuse and frighten the child. You know, it was respectful, like, oh, sweetheart, you know, be respectful, make sure you're aware of your surroundings. I thought that was absolutely wonderful. Well, this is an article that just came out today, about 12 hours ago. If you want to, I mean, with 22,000 upvotes on this feminist Reddit on 2X chromosomes, if you want to find out more about this story and what people think about it, I read through some of the comments. Some of them are crazy, some of them are sensible. Anyway, you'll find your thoughts. Let me read some of the comments here. An old man Migto recommended old woman channel on YouTube called the Debbie Moore. She's an example of women's something. Wow, this is so frustrating. Make great examples of front-end statements of women's BS requirements. How's it going? For sure, like some cultures are vastly different to that until she discovers feminism. Yeah, there is a danger of that. What Reddit communities do you usually read? Well, the red pill ones. Although that's not always true. I like relationship advice. I like confessions. I like shower thoughts. I think shower thoughts is fantastic. It depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I go on to, this is a little bit private, but the only video game I really play is Age of Empires 2. I really like that one. So I go onto the subreddit of that every now and then just to see what's being discussed. So I'm going to log off in about 4 minutes because I want to keep this short. I'm actually a little bit ill at the moment. But that gives everybody 4 minutes to share their thoughts and answer some questions. Someone asked me, do I know what the Jewish question is? No idea what that is. Please educate me so I can know what that is. Someone asked me, have you been to Canada? I have not. I would love to go. Maybe you can buy me a ticket. Just kidding. Not really. How did you begin your channel? I began my channel because I was going to basically go out onto the street and ask women what they thought of red pill concepts because I was so desperate to know it. I couldn't find it on the internet. And it just occurred to me that if I was interested in knowing what women thought about red pill ideas, other people would be too. So I brought my camera with me and it started just like that. I think that's the Age of Empires priest noise. If it is, that guy's just become my favorite person. Love it. He knows what I want to see. Are there spiders bigger, they say, in Australia? No. We have bad snakes. The spiders are bad too, I guess. Were you removed from campus for inciting hate or something like that? That's actually what made the channel really popular. I had this video where I got kicked off of campus just for asking questions, and it was ridiculous, but I didn't make a big deal about it. I didn't put it in the title or anything like that, but when people saw at the end me recount, this is the Invisible Men video, I think it's still my most popular video, you know, how badly I was treated. I think they shared the video with other people, like, you know, in other red pill communities, and they came and watched the video, and for whatever reason, you know, the YouTube picked it up in its algorithm, like, oh, lots of people are looking at this video. And I related a little bit to how Ben Shapiro kind of got his start with the argument he had with Piers Morgan about guns, or how Jordan Peterson got his start when he was in Canada about the gender discrimination or the pronouns thing or whatever. What started this channel was kind of the controversy of that incident that occurred, and then people stuck around to hear other interviews. And I thought it was just the worst thing that ever happened to me, but in hindsight, it actually helped make the channel popular. What are my thoughts on the black pill? I don't like it, because, well, it's just depressing, I suppose. If the black pill is just like everything sucks, you know, and everybody's... Look, actually, it's not that simple. I've read some stuff that people have called black pill, and I thought, shit, there's some truth to that. But I really feel like when you're going to go that dark, you need positive experiences to balance it out. Otherwise, you really can get swept and lost in it. And I almost feel like if I was your therapist, I would advise you not to look at too much black pill stuff unless you're in a really good mood. I might do a bigger video on that because I don't feel satisfied with that explanation, but on the whole, I guess you'd have to ask me specifically about what black pill beliefs. So I've got 1 more minute, then I'll say goodbye. 79 people, fuck yeah, my audience, this is fantastic. I'm so loving this. The archive of this live stream will be available on Patreon to my Patreon subscribers. Did you have a problem obsessing over focusing on video games too much to the extent that you imported other parts of your life? I don't think so. No, I've had problems with other things. I've become addicted to other things. Video games, not so much. And that was, yeah, I don't know. I got over most of my demons a long time ago. I've been the person that I am now for quite some time. And even though I keep evolving, I kind of feel like you have to overcome... you have to overcome the crap of your childhood and teenagerhood, because puberty is just so fucking traumatic, you know, with girls and pressure and just, you know, balls dropping and hair growing and all that nonsense that you have to be born again. But for me, that happened reasonably early. I know a lot of people who still haven't gone through that. Someone said Teutonic Knights. That's pretty cool. Do you think men should work on their looks more? No, but probably don't listen to me. I was like, I'm aware I'm not an ugly guy. I'm not saying I'm fantastic looking, but I was blessed at least a little bit genetically. So I've always kind of skated by not really caring about my looks. You know, I don't really go to the gym. I don't pay a huge amount of attention to my appearance. People have, you know, pointed out how bad my fashion is on the channel. I don't really have anything to say to it. But in all honesty, I've managed to do absolutely fine in my life by being very well developed in other areas. So to me, looks don't matter, and it would bore me to death to even, like, I couldn't even have a conversation with somebody about looks. It's so not interesting to me. No Hyman, no Ring interview. Oh man, I'm sick of that suggestion. Anyway, am I of British descent? No, I'm all Australian. We probably could keep going, but I plan on doing a whole bunch more of these. So I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. I'm going to do a little bit more research on how these live streams worked. I want to make sure that the chat stays up for longer. You guys can't see what I'm going through, but it's all just sort of fading. So for me, it's like almost 11 o'clock at night. Probably where you are in Europe, it's afternoon, or if you're in America, it's probably morning. I hope you have a fantastic Saturday. If you're a supporter of the channel, you just come here to watch, man, awesome. Really appreciate you coming here. It's been awesome chatting with you guys. It's weird. I was so nervous to sort of start this. I'm actually a very private person. But I'm seeing lots of like, this is great kind of comments, you know, do more live streams. Yeah, I hope to. Awesome. Thank you for your content. Oh man. Thank you for your support. Please don't ever feel like you need to hold back with telling me that you appreciate the content. I like being social, and making YouTube videos can be a little bit solitary, and I really, really enjoy interacting with the audience. I like the comments. I really like it. One of the things that excites me so much is putting up a new video so I can engage with people on these topics that I find interesting. Bring my twin brother next time. You know what I love about this is I feel like there are in-jokes, you know, to do with this channel, which is awesome. Now I'm looking for how to end this and I can't even see the button. There's a cross in the top right, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. Fuck yeah. Awesome guys, catch ya. Are you sure you want to end streaming? Pretty sure.